we're out here with Brittni Stangl of Brittni's Automotive Repair. Just tell me a little bit about what you do.
So we are an automotive repair shop. We've been here for about 3 years now. We work on anything from 1964 or newer. We just do a lot of repairs.
Okay. Well, I was just curious kind of how you got into this.
Well, when I was younger, I realized I was going to have a car, of course, and working on them and whatnot is relatively expensive. So, to get out of mom's house and stuff, I had to learn how to work on cars because I couldn't afford a car. And then I ended up getting my first job at a mechanic shop when I was 18, and I never left.
So, in this industry, has it become more normal for women to be mechanics, or is it a thing where it's not a big deal anymore, or is it still kind of a thing? I guess
I'd say it depends on who you ask. The more I have been in the industry, the more women I do see coming in. When I first started, not as much, but now I see a lot more. I've had a young lady work here before too, which was kind of nice. I see them once in a while. Every other shop I go to, I'd say there's at least one girl that works there, whether they work behind the counter or they work, on the cars themselves. It's becoming more common. There are some, your older age groups where it's not as common for them to see a female doing something like this. But I think people are warming up to the ideas of women doing more things as women progress and we get out there and do more things. It's becoming more, less of a surprise, I guess.
This is a silly question, might cut it. I'm wondering if, I don't know, in dating or anything, that's ever been a hurdle for a guy to know that you know way more about cars than them.
Yeah, there's the pros and the cons of, and it's also with any business owner, we're all busy people. And so, there's always the added stress of that there. But no, most people are generally pretty supportive of it. I haven't really had too many issues with that. I think most people, when they want to date me, they already kind of know what they're getting into at that point. But, so.
Cool. Well, any challenges coming up? I'm sure Brittni's Automotive Repair, the title of the business, kind of they kind of know that,
that it's female.
Yeah, right.
There's been a few times where we've had customers call and they're like, "Hey, can I talk to Brittni?" Because my name is spelled kind of funny, so they want to call. They kind of want to make it a guy's name, but that's okay. I'll answer the phone and say, "This is Brittni. How can I help you?"
Awesome.
No, I welcome the challenges. If somebody doesn't think that I can do it, I would love for them to come here and let me prove them wrong.
And now, a word from our sponsor. Grab your cowboy hats and dust off your boots because Justin Fun Day is on Saturday, April 27th in Justin, Texas. Take part in the family-friendly fun from noon to 6 p.m. at Community Park. Enjoy an exciting rodeo show, shop around the local business market, indulge in tasty food trucks, have some fun in the kid zone, and try your shot at mechanical bull riding. All this and more is available at Justin Fun Day on April 27th. Visit cityofjustin.com for more information.
Was there a moment in time you can look back to where, your love really started? Was there a specific time where you're like, I think this is something that I want to do long term?
There was a couple instances, yeah. My passion for cars kind of started when I was actually a lot younger. Before I even worked on cars, my family used to run the Chicago Auto Auction. They've been very into cars most of our lives, selling and wheeling and dealing cars and whatnot. So I grew up with a passion and I grew up around cars. But I'd say high school, it really hit. A lot of my other friends, we're all getting our cars and, it was like the cool thing.
Right.
So, I would go hang out at car shows and car events and stuff like that. And I got into cars, hanging out with my friends and there's a lot of good memories hanging out in people's houses, trying to figure things out, get the car running again, and just, the typical. And then I'd say in my mid-20s, that's when I was like, yep, this is for sure. I'm not going anywhere else. It's a feeling of accomplishment after you do something like this and the car leaves. And it feels even better, you're out going to the grocery store or something and you see one of the cars that you've worked on. For example, the green Camaro, we see this car around town once in a while, and it feels really good when we do see it. So
You said you've been here about 3 years now in this shop.
Yeah.
So can you kind of walk me through the process of getting your own shop? Like you had experience, working on stuff since high school and going to car meets and everything. But what's the like process of getting your own place established?
So the process of getting this shop established for me, a few years ago, I was working for a company, and this is around the whole time COVID and everything started happening. So companies weren't doing so well. People weren't going to work and things like that, so everybody was running into debt. And I was laid off. There was several other mechanics. We were all laid off. And, I had some money saved up. So I said, you know what, let me just take a break from this for a little bit, hang out at home. If I need the extra money, I'll do some side jobs, do some breaks, things like that. And it accidentally went too well. The first 2 weeks, it was kind of slow. I did a couple break jobs and just kind of hung out and stuff. And, those people went and told some more people. And the next thing you know, I kind of became like the neighborhood mechanic. Everybody wanted to start bringing me their cars to my house and this and that. And, so my neighbors are kind of getting upset at that point because, now I got people just showing up at my house, dropping off cars, parts. I got people delivering parts to my house and just, crazy things. So I was actually reported to code enforcement. So code enforcement, it was actually because I had I put up a canopy in front of my house because it's so hot outside. Middle of the summer, sitting out there cooking in the sun, that's not fun. But code enforcement kept coming around, and they said, hey, if I keep doing this, they're going to find me. So I went ahead and started looking for buildings. I found this building, and we moved in. And I had quite a few clients already by that time. The neighborhood that I lived in Saginaw, they were really supportive. It was Quarter Horse Estates, right there over by Old Decatur. Everybody in the neighborhood was helping me out. They were referring friends, family, everybody. Once we moved in, there was a car lot that joined in. So we had plenty of workers, plenty of stuff to do. Everything went really well, and it just kept going well. And I've been really lucky. The best thing about all of this have been all of the people that I have ran into. Everybody that's worked for me, all the people that have supported us have been extremely helpful. I don't know how I've been so lucky that everybody I've had around has been super helpful, really honest people, really hardworking people. And everybody's done their fair share around here to make this happen. So it's not just me. There's been a lot of other people helping and making this happen too. So it's been a huge team effort at this point.
What a cool come up from, the canopy on the street outside your house to like your own like business. Really.
Yeah. And it just kept growing, and it turned into its own little monster over time. So and it's worked out really great. I didn't know this was going to happen this far, but here I am.
So, like, I think in some previous interviews I've done with other, like, female business owners or, like, people in, like, high-ranking positions, I've asked the question, like, what are the pros and cons of being a female business owner? And they always say, like, I don't really find that many cons. So what are some of the pros of, like, having your own shop as a female and as a female business owner?
I'd say the biggest thing for me has been earning the respect of people around me, showing over the years how hard I've worked to get this far. It hasn't been an easy road by far. Of course, everybody has challenged me that has walked through my direction, so I've had to prove myself to get this far. And so things have changed a lot as far as, when somebody approaches me, they know they're approaching somebody who knows what they're talking about. Versus whereas, when I was much younger, people might have been real weary because they're like, you're a female that works on cars. We're not sure. I've actually had customers tell me I've never had a female drive my car. I don't let my wife drive my car, things like that, just different scenarios with different people. I've had a gentleman tell me when I was much younger, this is, 15 years ago, but, he didn't want a female to work on his car. He actually went and told the manager, hey, I'm not comfortable with her, touching my car because, I could do it, and I said, here's the tools, I don't know what you want me to do. There's nobody else here who can do this. I'm the only one. And after talking to him a little bit, he said, you know what, just, I'll let you go ahead and fix it. And I fixed it and I did a good job and he was happy. And then he came back and saw me and I kept fixing his cars. So, there are cons to this too, though. There's always, somebody who's worried and just, that is our job, though, is to teach people The more I teach you as you come in as a customer, the more you will understand and take away from this when you leave. Or even if you go to another shop, our job here is to educate people so they know more.
Do you have any goals for the shop moving forward?
I do. I have a lot of goals for the shop. Well, one, obviously, I would like to get to our own property. Once we do that and we can get more established, I could start having more control over things. We can only do so much right now. But eventually in the future, I would like to be able to 3D print. So I do a lot of 3D printing on the side at home, things like that. I'm trying to figure out a way to work that into the shop so we can start printing some of these things.
Mhm.
So that way we don't.
The parts you can't get?
Yeah, the parts that we can't get, parts that they don't make anymore. We can only do it to a certain scale. Of course, it has to be something plastic, some high temperature plastic, things like that. But there's been a lot of little things like visor clips. Some of these older cars you can't get one. They're $300 on eBay or something ridiculous when I can just print it out.
Right.
So the idea is to get away from the typical shop standard and try to bring the shop into the future. Most of your shops, the biggest issue I've noticed over time is the technology that they're using. They're still using paper. They're still writing things down. It's all old. It's ancient. We need to progress into the future. Otherwise, the future is going to leave us behind.